The story begins in Nanjing, China, where a little girl named May lives. She is a gifted mathematician who can solve complicated mathematical problems in her head. She also has an extraordinary memory and never forgets any series of numbers she comes across. One day, May is walking home with her friends when a group of men abducts her. She is taken to a Chinese mafia leader named Han. The digital data of Han's criminal enterprise is traceable, so he wants to use May as his personal mental calculator, someone who can memorize the data for him. Initially, the little girl refuses to cooperate, but when Han threatens to kill her mother, she agrees to do as she is told. Under the care of their trusted gang member Chong, May is brought to New York, where she is hidden as his daughter somewhere in New Jersey. Elsewhere, a former cop and cage fighter named Luke is in an intense match with his opponent. He has set the match up and is supposed to lose, but he accidentally throws a punch at his opponent and knocks him into a coma. The win angers the head of the Russian mafia, Emil, who loses millions of dollars betting on Luke. Luke realizes that an angry gangster would mean his family is in danger. He rushes home, but he is too late. The gangster's son Vasily has already killed Luke's pregnant wife. Luke is devastated by the death, and although he can fight back, he does not retaliate. The thugs then promise to kill anyone with whom he speaks or makes contact. With nowhere and no one to go to, Luke returns to his hometown of New York. He starts living as a homeless person, wandering the streets of Manhattan. 1 year later, May is still working with the gang. Chong takes her on a weekly round through the streets of Chinatown. She memorizes the percentage of net profit or loss each store faces. The store owners are supposed to pay the gang a certain amount of money according to their profit, and hence May proves to be a useful asset to them. Throughout her time working with the gang, she has learned a lot about how business works in the gangster world. Somewhere else, Luke lives in a highly unorganized homeless shelter. One night, he meets a man with no shoes and severely infected feet. Out of sympathy, Luke gives the man his new shoes. The next day, however, he wakes up to discover that someone slit the poor man's throat and stole the shoes overnight. Suffice to say, Luke's living conditions are miserable. Meanwhile, a lady working closely with Chong approaches May in the middle of the night and informs her of her mother's death back in China. It turns out that her mother was severely sick and hospitalized. The following day, the leader of the gang, Han, comes to New York for the first time since sending May there. He arrives with a piece of paper containing a series of numbers. May is asked to memorize the number, which she does in less than 10 seconds. The numbers are of great importance, as Han immediately burns the paper to ashes so that only May would know them. After that, Chong takes her to the next location. May is told that she will have to memorize a second series of numbers when she reaches the destination. Everything goes according to plan until they are suddenly attacked by the Russian mafia led by Emil, the same gangster who killed Luke's wife. They are also after May because of the numbers she has memorized. A shootout ensues, and the Chinese gangsters lose to the Russians, who abduct May. Elsewhere, Luke is having a terrible day because a passerby steals his breakfast money while he is trying to buy something. He then bumps into his former colleague from the police force. The man instantly recognizes Luke and takes him to an abandoned building where other cops are waiting. Long ago, Luke exposed their corrupt ways of helping local gangsters, and they are still furious at him for getting them into trouble back then. They beat him up and insult him, but Luke does not retaliate. In the end, one of the cops hands Luke a gun and urges him to end his own life. Luke refuses and walks away. At the same time, May is taken to the Russian gang leader Emil, who asks her about the numbers. She soon finds out that the lady who told her about her mother was helping Emil the entire time. The woman also asks May to tell them the code, but May claims that the woman is going to die because she does not understand how business works. Right after that, the men shoot the woman dead since she is no longer useful to them. May knows she will suffer the same fate if she reveals the numbers, so she keeps quiet. Just then, a corrupt cop and one of Luke's former colleagues, Captain Wolf, arrive at the Russian hideout to catch the criminals. However, he is not there to uphold the law. He is acting on the orders of the Chinese leader Han. Emil calls the captain and offers him double the money compared to what the Chinese gang is paying to leave the hideout alone. The corrupt captain accepts the deal and retreats. By this time, May has escaped from the hideout without anyone noticing. Both the Russian and Chinese gangsters start searching for her, hoping to find her before the other group does. May eventually reaches a subway station, where Luke is about to end his life. He is seconds away from jumping onto the tracks when he locks eyes with the terrified little girl and stops himself. He also notices the gangsters who killed his wife searching for the girl. To escape, May gets onto a subway train, but the gang spots her and follows. Luke realizes something is wrong and makes it his mission to save the girl. He latches onto the moving subway and kills all the Russians in his path. One of them recognizes Luke as the man they beat up a year ago and is shocked at how someone so submissive could defeat all of them within minutes. In the end, he is also killed. Luke finally meets May, but as soon as the subway stops, she runs away with the crowd, mistaking Luke for one of the bad guys. While searching for her, Luke overhears a red alert code being relayed to all the cops. He realizes that the girl is also wanted by the corrupt policeman, who will definitely hand her over to the mafia. Minutes later, two cops who had beaten Luke earlier find May and try to take her away. Luke arrives just in time and knocks them out instantly, proving that he had stayed quiet only because he chose to. May still does not trust him, but she gets into a car with him when the Russian mafia suddenly arrives. A high-speed car chase ensues through the streets of. In Manhattan, Luke finally kills all the remaining Russians, steals their wallets, and takes May to a fancy hotel. Somewhere else, the captain finds out that May was taken by force, not by the mafia, but by Luke himself. He is in shock because Luke has not been involved in any crime-related activity since leaving the police force. Meanwhile, after checking into the hotel, May slowly starts to trust Luke and tells him about the numbers she memorized. When Luke checks the format of the numbers, he realizes that they are the combination to his safe. May also reveals that she was supposed to memorize a second set of numbers before the Russians attacked, which means there are two safes containing something valuable, most likely being traded by the Chinese mafia. Just then, Chung tracks May's location using a tracking device hidden in her phone. He arrives at the hotel with his henchmen and starts a shootout. Chaos erupts as people run for their lives. Eventually, Luke gets into a brutal fistfight with the gangsters, which causes him and May to get separated. Chung manages to capture May, while Luke escapes just before being killed. Luke knows he cannot abandon May and is willing to do anything to bring her back safely. He steals a phone earlier and uses it to call Vasily, the son of Russian leader Emil, the same man who killed Luke's wife a year ago. Luke pretends to be a gang member and claims that he has the number everyone is searching for. Vasily believes him and asks Luke to come to a casino to deliver the number. Elsewhere, the city's mayor calls the corrupt police captain to his office to discuss the recent shootings. It is revealed that the mayor and his boyfriend Alex are just as corrupt as the others. The mayor explains that Luke was not an ordinary cop. He was actually a CIA agent loaned to the police force after September 11th. During his time on the force, Luke and his former partner Alex assassinated several crime bosses to impose order on the city. However, Luke was forced to quit after exposing the corrupt activities of the captain and his squad. Alex stayed behind and seduced the mayor to gain power and influence. The captain finally realizes that the man he once considered a loser is actually the most dangerous enemy he has ever faced. When the mayor is informed that May and Luke are together, he becomes visibly nervous, as if he knows something about the safes and their combinations. Meanwhile, May is brought back to the Chinese leader Han, who asks whether she told the combination to anyone. May lies and insists that she pretended not to understand English. Chung then calls Alex and informs him that they have the girl and that the meeting can proceed. It is revealed that the Chinese mafia was doing business with the mayor and his boyfriend Alex, trading the unknown contents of their respective safes. Next, Luke arrives at the casino and ambushes Vasily's men, killing them one by one. He takes Vasily hostage, planning to use him to threaten Emil. Luke calls Emil and demands information about the contents of the safe in exchange for his son's life. Emil reveals that the Chinese safe contains $30 million, while the mayor's safe holds something equally valuable. The deal was supposed to be completed using the little girl, but the Russians interfered and ruined the original plan. Now that the Chinese have May again, the deal is back on track. Chung goes to meet Alex to exchange the codes. The only way for Luke to save May is to steal the $30 million from the Chinese mafia before the trade happens. However, He cannot do it alone because the safe is hidden deep in Chinatown and guarded by the most dangerous Chinese gangsters. Luke seeks help from his former cop colleagues. They agree to assist him, but only for the money. The group storms the hideout, and a massive shootout breaks out. Several gangsters and cops are killed along the way. When they finally reach the locker, Luke betrays the cops and shoots them all dead, except for the captain, whom he takes hostage along with Vasily. Luke takes the money from the safe and heads to the mayor's office. On the way, Luke calls Alex and demands to know what is inside the second safe. Since Luke has the money, Alex is forced to comply. He reveals that the second safe belongs to the mayor and contains a disk with data on every crime syndicate in New York. The mayor planned to sell the disk to the Chinese, take the $30 million, and let the gangs destroy each other afterward. Alex was about to complete the deal with Chong, but since the money has already been stolen, he rushes to meet Luke instead. Luke orders Alex to bring May along, as she is still a crucial asset. Alex obeys, kills Chong and his henchmen, and drives to meet Luke with May. In the next scene, Luke breaks into the mayor's office and demands the contents of the second safe. Although the mayor hesitates, he has no choice but to hand over the disk containing data on every crime syndicate in New York. Luke knocks him out and goes to meet Alex, just as promised, with both the money and the disk. At this point, Luke is the most powerful man in the game, but Alex still holds something more valuable, May. When it is time to exchange May for the money, Luke refuses and suggests settling the matter with a fight instead. Alex prepares himself, but May shoots him in the leg. Taking advantage of the moment, Luke kills Alex with ease. Luke and May are finally free, with the money and the disk, which they can use as protection to ensure May's safety. Luke releases the captain, giving him $50,000 as compensation for his troubles. He also frees Vasily so the Russians will not come after them. As for the Chinese leader Han, who lost his money, Luke sends him all the remaining cash so that he will never try to hunt May again. Finally, Luke hides multiple copies of the disk throughout the city so that if anyone ever tries to harm them, they can use it to blackmail powerful people. In the last scene, Luke and May drive to Seattle to start a new life together. The story ends here. If you enjoyed the explanation, don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more amazing story breakdowns. Thanks.